So, in chapter 2 of the Bhagavad Gita, and this is verse what?
375
Page 375 of the home study course of Swami Dayananda, and we're studying verse 69, right? And we've gone through the different chapters, the different subtitles. Okay, the verse itself says, in that which is night for all beings, the one who is wise, who is master over oneself, is awake. That in which beings are awake is night for the wise one who sees. So this is what Swami has been unfolding. Okay. Now the last part that we saw is that to know a wise person, you need not be wise. Okay, that's the last section that we saw, isn't it? We were looking at that, and then we saw which page are we?
375
375. This is the perform action. Okay, knowledge removes the notion of worship. Did we finish that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to start. Why should I perform karma?
Mm-hmm.
Let me read the last paragraph or the previous one. If the person knows I am Satchitananda, the Shruti does not address him or her at all. In fact, it says you are Satchitananda, but it reserves this particular statement for the last chapter, which is what we call Vedanta. Until then, the Veda talks exclusively about rituals and meditation, all of which are Dvaita, dual. Only at the end of all this is said, of all this does it say, you are that Brahman, that Tomasi. Now, there is a methodology here. The whole thing is a methodology. Why doesn't it address the last part of the Vedanta at the beginning? Now, remember that the notion that we have is that we are doers. And as doers, we're trying to fulfill ourselves, to find solutions to topical problems. Topical means what?
Like symptoms, kind of, just to address the
Topical.
The superficial.
on the surface.
External.
On the surface.
External problems. The tendency of the human mind is to resolve topical problems.
Right.
So, because of that, the Veda is very appropriate. You see, the thick part of the Veda is addressed to most of us. And in order to address those topical problems, then karma is needed. Is that right? So, pravitri, is that the right word? Pravitri. In other words, going towards something. It's like meditation. All these rituals and ceremonies that help the individual rise to a higher level. The Veda unfolds, it's a pramana. The first part of the Veda unfolds heaven. Right?
Right.
He says there is such a thing as heaven. It unfolds something that is not easily known, by itself. Because you by yourself would not know there is no heaven. Is that right? And then why does the Veda do that? Okay, why? Because the human being needs to then have a particular, let's say, set of rules, standards, that will be able to bring the best of him, or what is available there as a human being, so that design can become manifested. And for that, then it gives the notion, the idea of heaven. And then heaven is a desirable thing for all traditions. Is that right? Because they say heaven, is that place where there is not enough, you don't need air conditioners because it's always nice temperature and all that, and so on. And so it's a pleasurable place. And then it happens after death. And then they say, well, you want to get there? Okay, then regulate your life, right? And then it says karmas, do this and do that. Don't do this, and there are things not to do, things to do, the things that you're not supposed to do. If you do, they will bring you down lower to the lower levels. And then when you die, you're going to go to a place where you don't want to go, Narada, and so on. Okay? But then if Lord Death comes and you've been good, you've been according to Dharma, then you're getting merit, punya, so you can then visit the, what? Brahma Loka, whatever it is, all these different lokas, which is, heaven. Now, and what it does for a society, which is doer, this is what we want. We want to resolve that. So, I want to do this. If left on myself, I do it, but it might be the wrong thing to do, because we have that possibility of doing the wrong thing. So, it establishes what? Standards. Things to do and things not to do. And then, how do you harness that mind? Then do rituals and ceremonies. Recognize the Lord, recognize that power, and then do these things, and then you will be, what? A better person. And not only that, because of that, you will enjoy more living. This is the first part of the Veda, Shruti. Now, here, there is no talk about who you are. Now, listen, let's talk in terms of leisure. Leisure, when you have leisure means what? You're free from debts, have, spending money, how do you call that, enough capital, you don't have to worry too much.
Expendable income.
Expendable income, right? Expendable income, you don't have to work anymore, as a matter of fact. Source of income is already taken care of. Rich uncle died and all that. Or, you worked enough and now you're retired, have money in the bank. You have all these houses being, somebody's managing the houses and you just getting the richness of that. You get the time, leisure. Then you can start thinking about other finer things, going to concerts, nice paint, expositions, and all that. Do a little, research about this and that. Some of the finer things in life, isn't it? Because you're working stiff like we are. We don't have time for that stuff. It's very difficult, especially if you live in a situation like in my country. To be able to afford those things, the nice food and all that, you have to have expendable income. You don't have that, then you can have to, don't even think about the finer things of life, right? Now, so the subject of the finer things of life is not even brought to the general people. Why? Because people just want to have a place over their heads and, food enough for their children and maybe some education a little bit here and there and be able to go to maybe movies maybe at the most, like that, But then, as leisure grows, then the finer things in life are more available to you. Now you can consider those. So now, look at this. As you and I live a life of Dharma, based on the Veda, based on the injunctions of the Veda, the Shruti, all religions have the same thing. Then you relax. Why? Because you're not persecuted by guilt. You're not persecuted, in other words, you're in harmony with the surroundings. You're paying your bills. You're taking care of your wife and children. Your health even is taken care of, and all that. So now you have this leisure. Now, I'm not talking about money now. Here with the capital is what? Inner harmony. Inner harmony is
inner richness.
Huh?
Inner richness.
Inner richness, that's correct. You're at peace with the world. When you go out, you don't think that, oh, maybe there's a collector over there. Is that there? And looking for me. Let me go out to the backside. Dig a tunnel to go out and find another place to go. You have no problem, okay? Your mother-in-law comes, she even likes you even because you are very kind to her and all that. Nephews and all that, uncle this and uncle that, and they have, you're at leisure. Now, when you're free of those pressures, okay, because of Dharma, living a life of punya, like that, then that mind then can start thinking of higher things. Of the finer things in life. A life that is lived adharmic has no access at all